Hare Kṛṣṇa. Welcome to the Japa Circle. And to give some fodder for the chanting this morning and meditation, I'm reading a couple of shlokas from the section of the Srimad Bhagavatam in which Rūpa Gosvāmī is explaining to Parikshit Maharaj how one becomes disentangled from the material world. It's after Shukadeva had described the hellish conditions of life created by one's association with the three modes of material nature. Eventually one gets dragged down into hellish conditions of life. How does one overcome this? And the history of being in the material world is very difficult to overcome, to erase. If one was to write the biography of the jiva, it would be extensive as far as his involvement in the modes of nature since the time immemorial. So these are some of the essential verses in which Shukadeva is describing to Parikshit Maharaj the way to become extricated from the material world. He's telling the story of Ajamil. At the time of death, this Ajamil helplessly and very loudly chanted the holy name of the Lord Narayan. That chanting alone has already freed him from the reactions of all sinful life. Therefore, O servants of Yamaraj, do not try to take him to your master for punishment in hellish conditions. Purport. The Vishnu Dutas, who are superior authorities, gave orders to the Yamadutas, who did not know that Ajamil was no longer subject to tribulation in hellish life for his past sins. Although he had chanted the holy name Narayan to indicate his son, the holy name is so transcendently powerful that he was automatically freed because he had chanted the holy name while dying. Ante Narayana Smriti. And Ante Narayana Smriti is the point of the Srimad Bhagavatam, what to do, how to meditate at the time of death. This is Parikshit Maharaj's question, what should I do in general, but more specifically, what am I to do at the time of death? And Shukadeva at the beginning of Bhagavatam says, Ante Narayana Smriti. You have to remember Narayan, and now we're hearing how to do that. As Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita 7:28, Yesham tvantakatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva mohanir mukta bhajante mandradavrta. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. Unless one is freed from all sinful reactions, one cannot be promoted to the platform of devotional service. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 8:5 it is stated, Antakale chamameva smaran bhuktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nasyatra samshaya. If one remembers Krishna, Narayan, at the time of death, one is certainly eligible to return home immediately, back to Godhead. So, as we're chanting, we can remember that we're following the footsteps of the exact instruction that Shukadeva Goswāmī is giving us for practicing the highest level of spiritual life. Shri Harinam Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande Haribol. Are you ready to hear a little more? This is from the 6th canto, 2nd chapter. This is a famous verse. Sankyetyam parihasyam va stobham helanameva va vaikunta nama grahanam asheshagha haram vidu. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly to indicate something else, jokingly, for musical entertainment, or even neglectfully. This is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures. Patita skalito pagna sandashtas tapa ahata harir ityavishinaha puman narhati yata naha. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 8.6, Yang vapi smaran bhavam tajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sadatad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. If one practices chanting the Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra, he is naturally expected to chant Hare Kṛṣṇa when he meets with some accident. Everyone say Hare Kṛṣṇa. Do you say that when you meet some accident? Yes? Hare Kṛṣṇa. Even without such practice, however, if one somehow or other chants the holy name of the Lord, Hare Kṛṣṇa, when he meets with an accident and dies, he will be saved from hellish life after death. So, one point that Rūpa Gosvāmī makes about the practice of bhakti is that one should never assume that one knows why one's doing it. And it's always a good question to say, why am I doing this? Before engaging in a practice of bhakti. So I have a question that we can entertain over the next couple of minutes. Why are you here? Why are you chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa today? But you got to back it up with some kind of scriptural reference. There's a couple of mics, please. Okay, thank you. Why are we chanting? Yes, please. Okay. Oh, take it. It's not on. Could somebody? There you go.
The Shiva Samhita says that you should chant Vishnu's name daily.
Why wouldn't he like that?
He's sick of me talking about it.
Okay, so the Shiva Samhita says you should chant the names of Vishnu daily. So is that why you're doing it? Okay. Who else? Why are you chanting? You give your own reason and also back it up with some scripture. There's no battery. We'll trade it in. We trade in all microphones with no battery.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. As you so very nicely reminded us the goal of life, because most of the life gets spent in a distracted way. So you said Ante Narayana Smriti, and even if I cannot be successful in remembering Krishna, but as there is a beautiful sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam which tells that it's only gain whatever we do. The sloka goes like this, I think it's in the 5th chapter, 1st canto. Takta sadharmam charanam bhujam harir bhajo napakya tatotpatet yadi ko varta bhadram ahud amashakim.
Ko varta apto bhajatam sudharmata.
Then last sloka is it says that last line atrako bhadra aham amushakim kovarta apta bhajatam sadharmata. So it says tyakta sadharmam. Even if I give up the sadharma, even if one gives up sadharma, tyakta sadharmam charanam bhujam harer, his worshipping the lotus feet of Krishna, engaging in devotional service. Bhajan apakka, that means not successful in his bhajan. Patit tato yadi, even if he falls down. Kovarta atra ko bhadram, that on the other hand, if one is engaged in abhadram, the fruitive activities which are miserable from the very beginning, ahud amushyakim, kovartha apta, what you will get? Abhajatam sadarmata. The abhajatam, like those who don't worship the lotus feet of the Lord, and they very carefully observe their duties, what is that they will get? Because everything will become zero.
Don't be abhajatam. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Very nice. Okay, please. And we want to hear from, at least I want to hear from anybody who's 20 or under, if you can relate to Ante Narayana Smriti. In your youth, can you think like that? Go ahead, Malini, you're next.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhu. The goal of life is to remember Krishna towards the end of life. But in the current state, it's hard to remember him. But the chanting helps us to purify our heart. So the reason I chant is because I want to purify my heart. And it is also given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the 6th Shastakam, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhavamahama Davag Nirvapanam. So by chanting the holy name, I cleanse my heart so that I can chant more purely. So towards the end of the life, I can remember with clarity how to chant the holy name.
Thank you for articulating why you're chanting. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhu. I was just thinking about the same verse as you mentioned, Sanketyam Parihasyam Va, where Krishna is, even if you're just saying Krishna's name for fun or jokingly or, just not even meaning it really Krishna, still like in Ajamila's case, he gave him the credit. So I was just thinking that if I really sit and chant thinking about Krishna, then how much more attraction, how much more it will be so much more attractive to Krishna. So hopefully someday I will attract Krishna. So that's the reason I chant.
Thank you very much.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhu.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah, one of the prayers or thoughts I had while chanting was, this material nature is so overpowering, and to overcome the influence of the material nature, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durateya Mameveye Prabhadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So when we take shelter of Krishna, then we overcome the influence of the material energy, which is so powerful.
So when you're chanting, you're thinking about that?
Yes, Prabhu. At least today. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good point too, because the question why is very penetrating. It's easy enough to get into a routine and forget why. So continually asking the question. Shrimati Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Couple more. You had your hand up.
My thoughts were similar to Malini Mataji, where in the Nectar of Instructions it's also mentioned that even though one may have the jaundice or a tongue of avidya, slowly by chanting the holy name he can get rid of it and it can start tasting sweet like nectar. So I was just reflecting that daily when I chant, although many of the times it's not the best rounds or I don't know why I'm fully doing it, it's definitely it's a medicine that's going to get rid of the disease one day. So.
Oh, nice. Thinking of it, even in times when you may not have a full taste, that I'm taking medicine. Nice. Okay, Prabhu. He fixed that microphone. He's in our repair department.
Mine's very simple. Chito Darpanam Marjanam, to cleanse the mirror of the mind. The mind is dirty, and I realize my mind is dirty, and if I chant Hare Kṛṣṇa, it clears it all out, and I feel better. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you, thank you.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. When thinking of, like you mentioned Ante Narayana Smriti before, and during my rounds I was remembering the song Hari Hari Vipale, and I was remembering those two lines, the one that comes in the first stanza and the one that comes in the last. The first one I was thinking of was Janiya Shuniya Bhisha Kainu, which is that unknowingly I drank poison, which I was thinking about how oftentimes I put so many things in my head that are not Krishna conscious, and it's so easy to think that at the end of my life it's okay, I'll just remember Krishna, but it isn't nearly that simple, because everything else will start popping in out of nowhere that I never even thought that I remembered from like childhood. And the last line is Toma bina keache amara, who do I have other than you, O Lord, to love? And it was something I was trying to think about, because I was thinking that I was really reflecting on how, like, if I want to remember the Lord, I have to understand that my ultimately my relationship is only with Him, and that I have to I guess invest more time and energy into that, or to like reciprocate.
Thank you very much. So we made an investment today in our practice by sitting and chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa together. Thank you everyone who's joined us online. We're going to now take about a 1-minute break, and then we're going to have Guru Puja. Today we're going to be in separation of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Sriman Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev, because we're still waiting for them to appear, which will happen next week. But somehow they will pull through by keeping the transcendental vibration going. Gaur Premanande Haribo Vancha Kalpatarvishya Kripa